Okay, it is March 27th, 2016. Yesterday, I started reading this book, Physics of the Soul, the quantum book of living, dying, reincarnation, and immortality. And so, I'm keeping notes in my email and emailing myself about thoughts I'm having, what I'm learning as I'm reading the book. This book is very eye-opening, and also it makes my brain hurt. Like I'm having to stop and go to the dictionary to look up words, and the way it's written is pretty scientific because this dude is a quantum physicist. His name is Amit Goswami. I hope I'm saying his name right. But anyway, this dude is not a game. Okay, so um, so these will, because I talk a lot, with my nub while I'm talking, these will be my quantum nub stuff, thoughts. Okay. So, one of the first things um, that I have had to break down and understanding what it is I'm reading is like it's important to me to make sure I define words. So actualize means to make something real, to turn it into action, um, or fact, to make actual, right? Okay. So, um, okay. So there's this thing where, um, first let me explain. No, no, let's talk about possibilities. I'm gonna do one piece at a time. So this one will just be about possibilities. Okay. So, um, possibilities. Okay, so in the scientific world of quantum physics, possibilities are literally energy waves, right? They're waves of energy. So they're literally called possibility waves. And so, um, they are what's described as superposition. So that means they're like one on top of the other, but all over the place, right? And so, um, so what happens is there are all of these possibility waves, but consciousness observing one particular wave makes the energy of that wave stronger, right? And then it gives it a greater probability to actualize. Just you're observing it, just giving consciousness to it and observing it. Okay. Um, and um, and also what happens is when you, okay, so if there are all these other possibility waves, right, on one on top of the other, and then once you observe one, because you made that one stronger, and so it means the probability of the other possibility waves to actualize becomes weaker, right? The energy of all the other possibility waves becomes weaker. And so they collapse, right? So I imagine it like, so all of these waves, one on top of the other, right? I focus on that one, all the rest collapse basically into that one, giving that one the strength to actualize. Okay. I'm looking at my notes so that all of this makes sense. It makes a lot of sense inside of my head, so I just want to say it out loud so that when I look at this again or you look at it, it makes sense. Okay, so um, so what gives a possibility a higher probability of actualizing is your observing it, right? And because all the rest of them collapse. So this means that you can make things become actual, right? So if there you have so the way your brain actually works, they can measure your brain responds to stimuli by presenting all of these different opportunities. So like right now in your mind, there's about, even just watching this video, right? You have all of these possibilities at your disposal. You can stop listening. You can keep listening but start doing something else while you're listening. You can start scrolling through something else. You can pause it and go to the bathroom. You can go get something to drink, right? And so right now, my brain is even coming up with all of these possibilities of things I could do with my aunt, with my hands, with my hand and nub, with my eyes, which way I can make them shift, with my head, whether I want you to see my it as well with my soul sign by the right. Okay, so that your brain is constantly getting information and then all of these putting out all of these possibility ways, but your consciousness then chooses which possibilities to observe, right? And watch, which possibilities to watch. And so whichever ones that you observe, that's the event you're going to experience, right? Because you chose that possibility. So what that means is possibilities already exist because they exist in the realm that doesn't need time and space. So to understand quantum physics, let's use electrons, right? So quantum objects are things that do quantum shit, basically. So an electron makes quantum leaps. So inside of an atom, electrons are on different orbits, right? And an electron can literally jump from a higher orbit inside of an atom down to a lower orbit without traveling through the space in between both of the orbits. This shit just, right? That's called the quantum leap. And so they can observe this happen, and what you see when you observe it happen is the atom literally emits light. When an electron jumps from one orbit to another, from a higher orbit to a lower orbit, without moving through the space in between the orbits, the atom emits light. The other thing that's very important to understand about quantum objects, right? So things that have that are quantum. So these possibility waves are quantum energy, right? They exist within the science of the quantum realm. Okay, so another thing about quantum objects is that when you take, let's say, two quantum objects that are able to react to one another, that are able to interact with one another, they will interact with each other no matter what location each one of them are in. So they don't need a particular amount of space. They don't need to be in a particular location. This is called non-locality or some shit, right? They don't need location, which means it doesn't matter what space they're in, they will still interact with each other. So it means an electron, basically, let's take an electron because this makes it simple for me. An electron can be right here. One can be right here in Baltimore. One can be in China. And we can do an experiment with them to make them interact with each other, and they will still interact with each other, from one in Baltimore and one in China. And they don't take any time to do it. So it's not like because one is in Baltimore and one is in China, it's going to take longer. Like they don't send any signals that like have to travel from Baltimore to China. They just instantaneously interact with each other. So this means that quantum objects literally exist within a realm that transcends time and space, because they don't need a location in order to be what they are and do what they do, and they take no time to do what they're going to do when they're being whatever the fuck they're going to be, right? So they exist without time and space. Electrons are inside of atoms. Atoms are inside of all, is what all matter is, which means that all of this energy that we are is quantum shit, right? It actually, the space that all of this is operating in is space that doesn't need time and does not need a particular finite location, that a space starts here and ends there, or a time that starts here and starts there. It's just a discontinuous is what that is. It's like no breaks in between. Okay? All right. So because that's true, all of that is scientific, measurable stuff. This means that possibility waves exist within a realm that don't need time and space. So they just are. And so the book talks about how potential, like it warns you not to assume that manifested things are more powerful than potential, because potential exists in this quantum, right? It's quantum energy. Potential is, right, because it's the possibility waves are potential. So potential literally is in a realm, or is an energy that does not need time and space in order for it to be. Whereas manifested things absolutely exist within time and space, right? There's a beginning to the experience, there's an end. The thing happens. It starts one place, it ends, right? Although it's just dawning on me that it actually started at the possibility phase. But the book hasn't gotten into that, so I'm not even going to blow my mind out of the water by doing that to myself. But, so, this brings me to worry, right? Because, so first, let's start at creation, right? Manifesting things in my life, in your life. So it means that there are all of these possibility waves, me observing one. So that means, it means you're observing it before it has manifested, right? Because it's a possibility wave. So you have to, consciousness recognizes these possibilities and then freely chooses which one it wants to watch. So it's watching the possibility, it's watching the energy of the thing before the thing has manifested or actualized. And so that's what your consciousness is. That's what consciousness is, right? It's just choosing freely what the fuck, right? Okay, it wants to do. So you observe something before it happens. So here's what that's what creation is, right? Because in observing it, you're feeling what comes with that possibility. You are, right? You're in the possibility. So here's what I had to break down for myself about, right? Because we've learned already in life, right, that whatever you think on, that's what you will experience. That's what you will create. And so all of the books, the deep books, the books that people go to for advice and wisdom and whatever they call truth, right? Even the Bible says think on these things, and then it tells you all the good things you should, whatever is kind and loving and true, right? So we know that, and we know that if you keep thinking about getting pulled over while you're driving, this week you getting pulled over, right? So we know that when you think about things, right, that these are the things that happen. So this is what I had to break down for my own self about um, what I why the word observe is really powerful for me and helping me understand, oh, I'm about to be creating all types of just only what I want and nothing else. Okay, so there's imagining things, thinking about things, and now observing things. So for me, if I say I'm imagining something, and we know that imagining is just thinking about it, right? That's how things start. At somebody thought of it, imagined it to be, right? But if I want a particular, so for instance, I want a new car. I want a new car in my life. I'm not going to say I need, because that's first world bullshit. I don't need a new car. I want a new car. New to me car. So let's take imagining it, thinking about it, and observing it. So when I think of the word imagine, what it implies for me is that it implies in it that it might not actually be real, right? Just the word imagine, it could be real, whatever I'm imagining, but it's not real yet, right? And it might not come true because I'm imagining it. And so when I hear the word imagine, I have in it, I could work toward making that thing true, but it's not true yet. It's not a thing yet. I'm only imagining it. When I think of the word think, like that I'm thinking about something that happens or happened. So that's what thinking about something for me is. It's either I'm thinking about something that happened already, and so I'm remembering it, or I'm thinking about something that I'm planning to happen, and so it is ahead of me. Either way, the thing is behind me or in front of me. If I'm thinking about it, it's not here with me right now. So that's what presence is, right? Presence is like thinking on right now, on whatever is happening right now. So if there's something if I want a new car, this is why want is not as powerful as knowing that the thing already is, right? Because if there's something that I'm thinking about getting a new car, it's in front of me, right? It's not here with me right this second if I'm thinking about it. But if I put the word observing getting my new car, for me, the word observe means that A, is already real, right? Which is not like imagining it for me. It's already real. And the only way I can observe it is if it's right here and I'm looking at it like, oh, okay, it's right there. I'm going to just watch it, right? Because observing it is watching it. And so for me, observe means if I want a new car, I'm not going to think about having a new car. I'm not going to just keep wanting a new car. I'm not going to imagine having a new car. I'm going to observe getting my new car. So I'm watching it, right? So I see all of these possibility ways there. And if I just start observing the one where the new car is I get a new car, it makes all the other possibilities collapse around that one. And so I'm just watching that one happen. And in watching it, right? Observing it, I'm going to feel the joy. So I'm going to be excited about it. I'm going to be thankful for it. I'm grateful for it. And so this is how, and then emotions help to, right? The energy and motion. And so they help to make the thing actualize. Because so they ain't that deep, right? I'm watching it before it happens. And my watching it, observing it, brings all of the energy that goes with watching something that's with me right now that I wanted. And the emotion of it helps to actualize it, right? Because I'm going to be the probability of me being like, yep, I'm going to get all my paperwork in order, my pay stubs, I'm saving my money, right? I got the money already because I'm observing it happen. Right? So it's not something I'm worried about. So now let's talk about worry. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. This is the last concept I'm going to talk about. Worry, given all of this, right? Worry is simply you observing the possibility wave that's the ones you don't want, right? And so it means that if there are all these different possibilities of what might happen with me getting a new car, worry is I'm not going to have enough money for it. They're going to deny my application, whatever, right? They only got ugly cars, right? Whatever. And so I'm like, oh, I don't want none of these. And so now I got to wait for however many, right? There are all these different possibility waves, right? Different things that could happen in the realm of possibility. So if I start worrying, then what's happening scientifically? That means that what I'm doing is I'm observing the possibility ways of the situations that I don't want to happen, which means that all the other ones that I do want are now collapsing into the one that I don't want. And so, because that's the one I'm observing, it brings fear and feelings of not being enough, not having enough, feelings of can'tness, right? That I can't do it, it can't happen. It can't happen is one of the possibilities, right? So if I observe that one, it's going to bring all of the emotions and actions and additional thoughts of that particular possibility wave, right? And so it means that if all of those other possibilities still exist, and I'm observing the one that I don't want to happen, in order to actualize what I want, all I have to do is shift my gaze. That's all I have to do. Because the possibility waves are like this, one on top of the other, right? So if this one right here is the one I don't want, all I got to do is shift my gaze to this one, if that's the one I do want, right? And just start watching the one I want and be consciously aware that I am paying attention and watching the possibility that I don't want. And just say, turn the channel. I'm not watching that one no more. I'm now watching this one. Because now when I start watching this one, it now makes that possibility, the energy of that wave, stronger. And so now the other possibility waves are collapsing. So shift your gaze, turn the channel, start observing the possibilities that you want. That's Quantum Nub Stuff, Part 1.